We ask you to bless this city. We thank you for the general peace that we currently have. We ask you to guide us that we may continue to make decisions that would help us to maintain the wonderful peace that we do have. We ask you to guide decisions that are made here this evening and all those that are involved in those decisions. And bless this city, Father, and we thank you for there's so many wonderful people that are willing to volunteer and be a part of this. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Councilman Cusack. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started this evening, I notice in the audience this evening we have a distinguished guest with us. Delegate Fehrenbacher is with us. I'm sure you're happy the legislative session's over. But from the city of Vienna standpoint and Wood County, it was probably one of the best that we've had for a number of years. And so Bob and Vernon Chris, Scott Heckert, Mike Azinger, all the delegation from Wood County, you guys really went to work for us, and you got a lot of things accomplished that you got stopped on one side, but you passed on the other. And so, Bob, I'd like to give you a minute if you'd like to say a couple words or anything to tell us about the legislative session.
Well, thank you. I guess the one thing I'll say is Mayor Rapp started, it was a team effort. You know, the whole Wood County delegation, 5 delegates in Senators Azinger and Foley all deserve credit, because for us to have a successful session, we've got to get bills through the House to the Senate to the governor, or from the Senate to the House to the governor. And frankly, there were a number of things that I think were beneficial, not only to Wood County, but frankly the whole state of West Virginia. Income tax reform, hopefully put a lot of money into our respective pockets. And then frankly, there are some things that are specific to Wood County that we're proud of, and one of which is still pending the governor's signature, but I've been monitoring that one, and hopefully that'll pass into law with his signature or with the passage of time. So thank you for your support, and frankly, want to give credit to the mayor, because Mayor Rapp, Mayor Joyce, a number of the police chiefs, Chief Pfeiffer, came down and frankly voiced their support to help the other legislators understand the importance of some of the bills before them. And thank you, Mayor, for that support. And, I look forward to supporting this district and the Mid-Ohio Valley going forward. And please reach out to me if there's topics that Boyce and Charleston can help with. Okay.
Well, Bob, thank you so much. I know that you've gotten appointed to several key committees down there, and I know that you'll have a voice. It's a process, you know, and so I thank you for all your hard work. And like you said, it was a team. I was very pleased. You know, you guys are all very responsive, and if there's an issue, you were willing to listen. And even before you went there, you spent time with Chief Pfeiffer and myself just learning about the different things that we all deal with. And so it was great. So thank you very much. All right.
Can I ask you a question?
You sure may. Well, Mr. Azinger, do you know Mr. Azinger?
Yeah, I do. Yes, sir.
Do you think we'll ever get that business a new? Thank you. Business that inventory tax reduced or taken off, preferably taken off.
Eventually, you know, because even the income tax bill has an aspect of that. Now, it's frankly a cumbersome process, but it entails a credit on the taxes paid for personal vehicles. So that was one thing in Amendment 2 that is there. And the whole question is we respect the input from the voters, and they soundly turned that down. Frankly, they soundly turned down all 4 of the amendments in November, which was frankly a disappointment. And so I know there's been some discussion about how come none of the amendments passed? So I still believe that not just what was Amendment 2 on the personal property tax is a good thing for West Virginia to pursue. But we've got to step back and figure out, why did none of the amendments get support? And is it because the voters were confused and the governor came out against Amendment 2 and the teachers didn't like Amendment 4? Lots of thinking about that and choosing the right time to pursue one or more of those concepts.
I think we'd attract a lot more industry if we take it off.
It is definitely a disincentive, not only for the existing industry, but new industry to see that tax and at that level. You're right.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right. I'd like to call to order this regular session of the Vienna City Council for March the 23rd, 2023. Let the record reflect that I've taken roll, that all members of council are present. Councilman Bibby is joining us by phone this evening. Having a quorum, we will proceed. First item on our agenda this evening is the public forum. We have 3 people that have signed up to speak this evening. We'll start with Melanie Lockhart.
Before I begin, I would like to ask if I could have an additional 3 minutes to the 5-minute time that's requested.
I'm going to say no. The council has that decision, so if council wants to allow that, that's up to them.
I move to allow Ms. Lockhart more time, 3 minutes, additional 3 minutes.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we allow 3 additional minutes for Ms. Lockhart.
Thank you.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Mr. Bibby?
Aye.
Okay, passes.
Okay. My name is Melanie Lockhart. I live at 307 41st Street and also own with my husband 309 41st Street. The Planning Commission held a meeting on February 27, 2023 for a petition of closing of an alley. I have cherry-picked bits and segments of that meeting.
Okay, so the 10-foot right of way that you actually see goes from that point in this direction. All right, in one survey, you probably can't see it, but there was a red flag hanging on that gate post. And when you look at the map, that is a continuous boundary line that goes all the way around it, thoroughly to 4th Avenue. All right, this is a picture from the front corner that shows the boundary. And you can see in the far back that that is the same brown border that is right there that I showed you on this map here. All right, so you're familiar with that? So if you went from that corner right there, 10 feet to the right, would be the alley. When you go past the 10-foot, it's Mr. Lockhart's property, and Mr. Lockhart owns the property that's behind it as well. All right? So he has 10 foot from his other lot. This is the picture that I took today. I'm standing on the boundary marker that's right below this post. So when you look straight down that fence line, that's exactly where the 10 foot is. And then it goes 10 foot across the alley to another pin that is sitting there, which is my front yard. Okay? And so, as you can see, all of that building and all of that development encroaches on the alley. I didn't measure it. I don't know how far it sticks out in it, but I'm guessing about 5 feet. Right? So that's Mr. Lockhart's there. And he goes all the way down to where the red truck is sitting, and his house joins the end of it right there. Crossing the alley closed, and that the 10-foot alley right of way be proclaimed to the owners of the adjoining property. Utility restrictions on any of the pieces of property certified mail. He was saying that, you can't drive through there, you can't access it. We're not on this property when we get through there. And there's no obstruction of anything. And what he's saying, here, trying to say, absolutely, without a doubt, there's absolutely no way you can get a car or truck through that entrance that he's referring to, because between that spot, which you saw, that's where I told you that the surveyor's flag is, the corner of his house is not passable. And you cannot go down that alleyway, which they do all the time, and who cares, okay? It's his house. But I can tell you, there is absolutely no way that you will get a vehicle down that alleyway and not be on my property. None. Because all that structure that sticks out there prevents you from moving anywhere. It's absolutely not true. When I move the fence, which I come off right off that chain link fence is there, and I come straight down that alleyway, there's no one going to get a car down through there. I'm going to stop the fence because I have a gate when you make a left-hand turn. It's so tight right where that turn is that I get trailer wheels, I can't do it. So I'm going to take the down through that and drive straight into my backyard. I'm not going to lose access to my backyard. All right? But I do own the majority of that 5 feet. If you look at this, I mean, they're not going to gain anything because their 5 feet's already being used for that structure. Okay? Yeah. So that's just a wonder about it. I'm 20 years anymore, you know. 23 years. He's not even. Where's your picture of it? His chain link fence. Why she's traveling in. His chain link fence. Right where that flag sign is about where it is. He doesn't even know that far. His chain link fence. Well, like I say that flag, that is not even interfere with anything beyond that. So what do you want? He didn't get sure. He didn't make a turn or truck. I mean, I'm thinking, over.
Thank you for your time.
Robert Lockhart.
Thank you. I'd like to pass this out.
Thank you.
Council, please. Paperwork. That's what we need.
Go. Go. Very good.
All right. My name's Robert Lockhart. I live at 307 41st Street here in Vienna, West Virginia. This video you've just seen is Randy Rapp presenting his case for closing of the alley. I was not notified in the proper manner of this planning committee's meeting, so I couldn't provide any defense as to why the alley shouldn't be closed. I wasn't aware of what the specifications were because I wasn't given a proper notice according to West Virginia Code, because the city of Vienna doesn't have an ordinance on closing of alleys. There's nothing that's been stipulated. I can say the city of Vienna, this is coming from city attorney, the city of Vienna does not have an ordinance that sets out a procedure for closing alleys. All these years, there's all kinds of alleys, dead-end alleys around here, and nothing has been done, so that I know of, and now. So, obviously, this will be taken care of in future proceedings. And what I'm asking for the city council is when this resolution comes forward from the planning commission that you vote no of the closing of this alley. And I'm going to give you additional reasons why, other than the fact that I wasn't notified that this was taking place. Randy Rapp states that many times in that video that 5 feet is his personal property
and that the alley is 10 feet. And he's also issued them to issue a quitclaim on that 10 feet. In front of you is an actual copy of the plat of this property. It's the top page. And if you'll look, maybe see if I can get it on here, right? You see that right there where the alley is? It says alley. It's 15 feet. It's not 10. That property that Randy Rapp is claiming to be his is not. It belongs to the municipality. And with the decisions that he has made, he's committing a federal offense. He's saying property that is not his. It's a 15-foot alley. It goes all the way back, and it's marked. You can see his property markers. I have pictures of his property markers. They're 15 feet from mine. So he's misrepresenting and obviously telling things that aren't true by saying it's a 5 and a 10. It's 15 feet. So his presentation to the Planning Commission was false. He seeks to gain an additional 5 feet by simply stating it's his with no documentation. He was not required to provide. He was showing this map right here. It's a Google map and a tax map. These lines on this thing aren't accurate. I've provided you the plat of the actual yardage that's there. So the problem I have is with if he's going to make statements to that effect, what's he going to do otherwise? This is just a closing of an alley. There's other procedures that he's involved in with the city, and if he can't tell the truth about the variance of a 15-foot alley, what's he going to do on other presentations? He just simply wanted you to, when he came up or presented himself, he wanted you to believe that what he was saying was true, and it was not. And no problem. This is the only documentation that was provided to the planning committee. This is it. Didn't notify him that he was wanting a petition to close the alley until we came in here to the meeting. So the planning commission voted to close the alley. They will then forward it on to you all for approval. And as I've stated, there's several deficiencies in what he has reported to the planning committee. And now I'm not completely blaming the committee. They were making the decision based on who they were talking to, and answers to the questions were misleading. As you said, they made notification that they made a public announcement that this meeting was taking place. I can read from you right here. Mr. Parrish, as I understand it, never provide written notices. It's not a requirement of West Virginia code. It's not a requirement, they say. If you're going to go pave a street or repave a street or whatsoever, you have to notify all those people. That applies to an alley also, not just a street. It goes to alleys, right-of-ways, and other such things. So there was no public notice made, other than, and they stated that they had made a public notice to the commissioners, so they went along with it. The mayor is not operating in a professional manner, allowing his employees to act in a non-professional way. That's malfeasance and misfeasance. Had this been done correctly, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't have a leg to stand on. They'd made proper notifications, followed through on the proper procedures of the West Virginia Code. There would be no need for me to even be here. And so I'd like to read this piece right here. A public official or other person commits
Mr.
the
Lockhart,
offense.
how much time are you going to
I'm
need?
going to finish this right here. A public official or other person commits the offense of conspiracy to defraud a political subdivision when he or she conspires or agrees with another to commit theft of property that belongs to a local government or that is under the control of the public official in his or her official capacity. If the conviction calls for imprisonment of not less than 1 year to not more than 5. Thank you.
All right. I was given a FOIA request, and Mr. Lockhart, I appreciate your passion in the issue, and I answered the FOIA request that you made in the way that I do. The code that you sent me a letter, and I actually appreciated it because what I was looking for was a procedure that was set out in West Virginia Code for the condemnation of alleys. And you sent me several statutes, and one of which you had actually handwritten in, or I think it was, or abandonment or vacation, I can't remember. And I say that because I was actually looking for something that I believed should have existed, but I couldn't find it, which was the notification procedure that one goes through to abandon an alley. The code site that you actually sent me was under, I believe it's under 817.1 and so forth. And that deals with paving alleys. Municipal corporations have historically needed a mechanism in which they could have paid. Some of our towns in West Virginia are small. The legislature created a mechanism.
Sorry, Randy, my call.
Okay, we're still going, Roger. Thank you.
That allowed municipalities to pave alleys, to make improvements, sewer lines, and so on and so forth. And that's the code site that you actually cited, 817.14, but it doesn't cover abandoning or vacating an alley. And the reason that statute exists is because municipalities can pave an alley or add a sewer line or a water line or so forth. And then they can essentially put a lien on the property, the adjacent property owners, for their fair share of what the amount of the improvement is, whether it's paving or putting in lines and so forth. It is my opinion, based on the reviews of that statute, that the notice requirements don't apply in that statute, that don't apply to vacating or abandoning alleys. My position is and remains the same. And I've actually gone out and looked at how other how political subdivisions or cities do it. And often they create an ordinance that lays out a procedure for abandoning alleys. And for a couple of different reasons. One is so that a business or whatever asks for an alley to be abandoned, it's so that the city receives fair market value of the property. And another is to make sure that, this isn't just for the benefit of one person or just a single business or so forth. That's what the statute says. The procedure, and I'm not, and I understand your position, I'm not commenting on the validity of the request. I'm only commenting on the procedure, okay? So the request would ultimately be left up to council. So the way I read state code, because we don't have an ordinance that talks about specifically abandoning statutes or abandoning alleys, is based on the two code sites that we have. One is the general authority under West Virginia Code, I think it's 812.5, that says cities have the ability to abandon alleys. And the second is requiring that the abandonment of roads, alleys, and so forth be done by ordinance. I've looked, I can't find anything that deals specifically with the issue of vacating or abandoning an alley that requires a petition that's in municipal or in state code. And I've looked at our municipal code and I've tried to find the same thing, because if there is a mechanism to do that, I want the city to follow the mechanism. That's my job. I've often said, I don't comment on the wisdom of council's actions. I just try to make sure that they're doing them in conformity with the law. And so I've been trying to find the mechanism, and the only mechanism that I can see that addresses vacating an alley in the city of Vienna deals with those two statutes in the code. Now, if the city wanted to go out and pave some of these unpaved alleys and make improvements on them, I think they would have to have notice and so forth. And part of the reason for that is you are burdening those adjoining property owners with the possibility of getting a lien filed on their property, because they are, to some degree, involuntarily while they're accepting the benefit of the pavement, they're also accepting a bill that could it could affect their property in the form of a lien. So as far as malfeasance and so forth, I mean, we live in America. You can make assertions and claims. I suppose accusing somebody of a felony is, I'll leave that to you to decide the wisdom of it. But and I'm not going to comment on it, but I appreciate your looking. I appreciate what you sent me, and I really do, because I was really trying to find something. But I think what you've sent and what you've cited doesn't apply to closing an alley. It applies to paving an alley or a street or a road or a what have you. But anyway, and I say that for the benefit of council, because I suspect at some point in the future this issue is going to come before council, and I'll have to write a memo at some point. But just to give them a preview of what I anticipate the memo to say, but that's my position.
Mr. Lockhart, I typically don't respond to public forum because every person is entitled to their opinion. I have no issue with that whatsoever. But when you bring up the words malfeasance and you say that my other actions are questionable, that takes it to a different level for me. And so I just want to tell you that it doesn't make any difference what you think about me or what this documentation you've brought in, which is almost 100 years old. I can tell you that when the surveyor served that, those pins are exactly 10 feet apart. Exactly 10 feet apart. So with that, our next speaker will be Tammy Rhodes. You are not. Mr. Rhodes, Ms. Rhodes.
Good evening. The only thing that I would like to say tonight is I'm requesting that Mayor Rapp inform council as well as the public about the restrictions, the full restrictions on Spencer's Landing, as per the email from Derek Hancock. Thank you.
So we have no unfinished business this evening, so we'll move, the report of the minutes. The minutes from the regular council meeting on March the 9th and the special council meeting on March the 16th, 2023 have been printed, posted, and circulated. Are there any corrections to the minutes? No objections, and the minutes will stand approved as posted. Councilman Leach will give the treasurer's report at the first regular meeting in April. And so we have no unfinished business this evening, so we will move on to new business. The first item this evening is authorizing for sale by internet auction of personal property, including a Milo range simulator, a wood frame church chairs, heavy duty plastic chairs, metal folding tables, an auto mop, a floor burnishing machine, and a Jeep Liberty. This is a resolution authorizing for sale by internet auction, govdeals.com, of personal property, including a Milo range simulator, wood frame church chairs, heavy plastic blue chairs, metal folding tables, an auto mop, a floor burnishing machine, and a 2005 Jeep Liberty. Be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Vienna, as per West Virginia Code 8-12-18B and Vienna Municipal Code 107.05C, the City of Vienna hereby offers for sale the following items. All items are sold as is with no warranty, express or implied. Further, the mayor, finance director, their agents, or assigns are authorized to publish, as is required by West Virginia Code 8-12-18B, a Class 2 legal notice notifying the public of the location of the sale and the items to be auctioned or sold. I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the resolution authorizing for sale by internet auction the personal property listed, the 7 items.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the resolution authorizing for sale by internet auction the following 7 items. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, then I'll call for the question. All those in favor of the resolution authorizing for sale by internet auction, please signify by raising your right hand. And Mr. Bibby, would you care to go first? Yes or no, sir?
I vote yes.
Thank you.
I vote yes.
All right, thank you. Would you poll the rest of the council then?
Yes.
Ms. Raisinger.
Yes.
Mr. Leach.
Yes.
Yes.
I say yes.
Yes. All right. It passes unanimously. Thank you. The second item on our agenda this evening is a resolution appointing Garrett Holmes to the position of the City of Vienna IT Director. Be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Vienna that Garrett Holmes, duly qualified, is hereby appointed to the position of the City of Vienna IT Director with full benefits and an annual salary of $50,000 effective as of March the 1st, 2023. Mr. Holmes has been on our IT team for about a year and a half. He meets every qualification. He worked for the IT company that we used for 10 years with all of our IT needs, CSSI, and he came to us from there. He has an associate degree from Ohio University, and he's well qualified and an excellent employee. So I would entertain a motion for the approval of the resolution appointing Garrett Holmes to the position of the City of Vienna IT Director.
So moved.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the resolution appointing Garrett Holmes. Is there any discussion?
I have some questions regarding this, so I request that we move to executive session.
Second. All those in favor of an executive session?
Aye.
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 And just for the record, we're moving to executive session under West Virginia Code 69A4B2A for, to consider a personnel issue.
Roger, I'm going to call you from my phone, okay?
Okay.
If you hang up, I'll get you as soon as we get into executive session. Let the record reflect we went into executive